I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace. And we're the Disruptors. You missed your cue.
No, I let you do it this time because I'm tired of always having to back you up.
Really? Is that how you see it?
Yeah. Oh, this is bad. I don't want to be a backup singer.
I think our listeners
you're the star.
Should take a vote.
So, no, I don't think they should vote.
I want to remind you of our beautiful listener out of Seattle that went ahead and said, hey, why do you let him speak?
Yeah,
I'm hoping that I've got some kudos there with her.
I see.
I think you should go ahead and talk to us again. Send Bill an email and ask, why are you speaking?
Sure. And in the next podcast, Bill will do sign language, and we'll see if they hear Bill.
Listen, Bill, we have a special show today.
Yes, we do. And you get to introduce the gentleman because you have all the information.
I do.
You're doing the heavy lifting.
I am.
Carry on.
I'm really grateful that you acknowledged that.
Yeah, I'll be back in about a half hour.
Feel good.
Okay.
So today on our show we have Mike Skiff helping people build intentional relationships. Absolutely love him. He's incredible. So welcome to the show, Mike.
I am happy to be here, Candace and Bill. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is great, and Candace is excited because this will be the first live guest she's brought in to over 100 shows. So this is exciting for her.
Well, yeah, because the rest, I guess, were, wax museum pieces
very close
what?
to it, yes.
Yes. I'll try and be as lively as possible.
As lively as possible. We appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I was born... I'm just kidding. I don't need to go that far back. Actually, I will go that far. I was born and raised in Washington State, but up north on Whidbey Island, a little town called Oak Harbor. It's a Navy town, so I grew up around the Navy, airplanes, all that good stuff.
Love Whidbey Island.
Do you?
I lived there for 6 years. My first husband was in the Navy.
Okay, in Oak Harbor then?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Been up there. Matter of fact, I found rental property, investment property for my parents on Oak Harbor Road.
Okay.
Not far from the naval station.
I don't meet a lot of people from Oak Harbor, so that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I lived up there in the San Juans. Love that whole area. It's not the same.
It's not.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you, so go ahead.
No, that's okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I spent my childhood there, went off to college at Central Washington University, go Wildcats, and I graduated there after completing the ROTC program. So I went straight into the Army as commissioned as an officer, Adjutant General's Corps, which, if you don't know the Army, that's a fancy term for human resources. And I did that for 11 years. I was active duty.
Wow.
And
Mike, before we go any further, Bill and I want to thank you for your service.
You did.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
I know you're married, but just send our love to your wife because it's a joint effort, and
yes,
they go through just different things. But thank you for your dedication to your country and for us for making sure that we have our own freedoms and liberties. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And along those lines, speaking of my wife, it was during college where I met her. Her name's Melinda. She's the love of my life. We celebrate 15 years of marriage in August. So
that's awesome.
The big 1-5. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And in that 15 years, we've produced a lot of kids. I right now have 6 kids, 5 of which we produced, 1 we adopted. And
wonderful.
Yeah. And so a lot of times people will joke around with me about that and give me a hard time. But honestly, part of my story is also, tragic. We lost a child. And so when that happens, you never complain about having a lot of kids because
no, you don't.
You know how precious life is. And so anyway, we did the Army life together. As you mentioned, it is a partnership. It's not just the soldier that experiences all the stuff that goes into that. The family behind them is a key part of that. So I did deploy just one time over to Iraq. I spent 15 months in the desert. Wow. And it was the extended tour, so it was great times. A great experience. Obviously there's a lot of opinions about war and what we were doing over there and all that, but at the end of the day, it really helped me personally figure out life. Figure out what was important. Sure. Along with other life experiences, but really enjoyed my time serving. But I just kind of got to a point, and especially after my son died, it really put things into perspective for me as to what's important, what do I really value the most, and for me that was, and still is, family, relationships and really investing in a community. And so for me, it was natural to, obviously the Army's not as compatible with those things,
right.
As great as the Army is. And I'm still in the reserve, so I still get to serve in a different way. But I knew it was time for me to find something different. And I've always had the desire to be creative, to be entrepreneurial in a way. And so I discovered a great opportunity with a publishing company called N2 Publishing, stands for Neighborhood Networks. Was a perfect fit for what I was looking for, and we're a franchise company, so I was, went through the whole process and was able to secure the Tacoma franchise. So that's what I do now full time. That's my livelihood, among a couple other things that really I get a lot of joy from. But that is the short version of my story.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
See, now, he came from Whidbey Island. You got thrown off of Whidbey Island. See how this is going to be a wonderful
It was only because I was
podcast?
whale watching.
This is a wonderful podcast.
Nice.
Whale watching. Good comeback, Candace. Good comeback. Picked it right up.
Messing with me, I'm messing with you.
I'm telling you.
Very good.
So, explain to us a little bit about the publication. You say you publish, you write a magazine. I'm speechless. You know how it goes.
N2 Publishing.
And yes, tell us
Yeah.
a little bit
Magazine.
about what that publication's about.
I'll start with the why we do it.
Awesome.
I'm a big believer in starting with why. And the why behind it, the reason why our two founders started this whole thing, if you look on the back of my business card, there's a cute little phrase, and it says, turning neighborhoods into communities. And really, that's the why behind our company. As a company, we've been around for 14 years this year, and our passion is helping bring communities together. If you look at America today, a lot of people, and we're all guilty of it, myself included, we kind of drive into the garage, we shut the garage door, we go inside our houses, we turn on cable television or get on the internet, and
zone out.
We zone out.
Zone out.
We've had a rough day at work. It's that sense of community. And we don't necessarily need to be overly nostalgic about the 1950s or something like that. But something as simple as a neighborhood publication that is produced by the residents who live there. It's kind of a social magazine that it's written for the readers, by the readers. Really just helps us bring the community together. Personal interest stories, kids, pets, families, events, things like that. And so where we have done well, and the communities that we've served really well over the years are typically, they have the perception of being higher end neighborhoods. And not that we couldn't do it other places. It's just been our niche for the last 14 years. And why mess with a good thing? So, so that's kind of the why. The what is, it's a monthly neighborhood publication. Again, like I said, put together by the residents. But the purpose of why we do it is to bring the community together, but also help our businesses in the local community really connect with the neighborhood. There's a lot of ways. There's, obviously that is on the marketing and advertising side. There's a lot of ways that businesses can get in front of their ideal markets. We just happen to be one of the best ways for businesses that want to be in our neighborhoods and really want to do more work and have more exposure in our communities. So I really feel like I'm privileged to not only help our residents in the neighborhood build that sense of community, but also help our business partners that are a part of that be a fabric of the community too. So that they're really viewed as community supporters, not so much just solicitors. They really
actually supporting the community.
Absolutely.
Itself.
The residents in the community figure out pretty quickly that this nice little magazine that they get mailed to them every month for free is a result of the sponsors that make it possible. And so they learn that over time and give them an opportunity to work with them for the long term.
Well, first of all, the magazines are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And they're just, have you ever seen them? They're gorgeous.
No, I really haven't.
That's because you don't live in a good neighborhood. So
I don't either. I don't live in any of my neighborhoods either. So,
well, they are beautiful, and I don't know why anybody would want to even get rid of them because they're full of a wealth of information, and you do highlighted stories on the residents, certain residents, right? And so they take beautiful pictures.
That's why we don't get it in our neighborhood, because you see, then Crime Stoppers would be watching and
actually that's not too far.
Not
I drove Bill home one night and DEA and the DEA was out there.
It was only once.
ATF and
pretty much, yeah. I felt like I had United Nations at his front door. I'm like, I'm going to drop you off and you can walk the rest of the way. I want you capturing my license plate.
Good luck.
So I'm glad that, that obviously is not what you're
We have entrepreneurship, private entrepreneurship in pharmaceutical research.
Oh, now that's a spin.
Yeah.
So
think about
nice.
that.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
With your publications, so they go out every month.
Mm-hmm.
You've got special interest stories.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that community businesses are investing in the community.
Absolutely.
One of our thoughts is, healthy businesses make healthy communities make healthy cities.
Yeah.
Healthy cities make a healthy state, and so on and so forth.
On and so forth. Great. Yeah. Absolutely.
So with that, it's all about relationships. And I was, your invite, helping people build intentional relationships.
Absolutely.
Because you are all about relationship. And I love that.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, obviously through publications, but it's more than that. The publication is fruit or a byproduct of really what you have going on, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you're young and first starting out in your career and just kind of learning the ropes, no matter what career you're in, for me, that was starting out as a second lieutenant in the Army. And you really you're wide-eyed, you're ready to go, and you don't know a whole lot. Sure. And oftentimes, I think most of us fall into the trap of performance, being task-oriented, at least the type A people like me. We fall into that trap of believing that that's more important in life and in career and in moving ahead. And like I said, just different events in my life have really disrupted my normal to where that's not most important. And I came to realize that, sure, business and being task oriented and all those different career focused things are while they're important, what trumps all of that is true intentional relationships. And I kind of have, I'm not a perfect person by any stretch, but I've tried to really embrace that in every area of my life. So not just in business and in who I partner with and who I associate with in the business community, but also my family, my friendships, the relationships I have that go even deeper than business relationships. Sure. I just believe that at the end of the day, and for me, another thing that happened just on Saturday, tragic event. We lost our senior pastor at my church that I attend, and we're a small community church. There's 100, 150 of us, and it just puts into perspective that that's what's most important is relationships with people, and putting into perspective that when I get to the end of my life, I'm not going to look back and think, man, I hope people appreciate and acknowledge how much I accomplished in business.
Correct.
Now, of course, that everyone has an ego. Everyone wants to be successful, or at least most people do. And of course, I want to be remembered for some of those things. But at the end of the day, what's more important to me is that I was remembered as somebody who loved deeply, who cared about people, who was intentional in their relationships, and really went deep with people. And one of the things I love about Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. And I was watching, there's the Netflix special that he's got out there. I'm Not Your Guru. Great. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend
really good.
It.
It's
very
really
good. Whether you like Tony Robbins or not, it'll peel back the onion a little bit and let you see some of what he is and who he is. And I think it was in that where he talked about how he's not interested in small talk. He's not interested in surface level stuff because our time is short, and he would rather spend time in deep relationships, deep conversations, and that really kind of hit home for me as well.
When I worked for, this has been quite a few years ago, obviously.
Moses was with you at that
pretty
time.
Much, yeah. Actually, he was.
Notes.
He was a small child.
Well, he wasn't very old, no.
But when I worked for Good Sam, I was a case manager.